blessing. No matter where you roam, keep her while she's living. You'll miss her when she's gone. Love her as in childhood, though feel alone and grey. She'll never miss her mother's love till she's buried beneath the clay. An Irish boy was leaving his native home, crossing the broad Atlantic waves once more he wished to roam. And as he was leaving his mother, while standing on the quay, he threw his arms around her neck, and these are the words he said. Our mother's love's a blessing. No matter where you roam, keep her while she's living. You'll miss her when she's gone. Love her as in childhood, don't feel alone and grey. Sure you'll never miss her mother's love till she's buried beneath the clay. And as the years roll onward, I'll settle down in life. I'll choose a nice young Irish girl, and I'll take her to be my wife. And as the kids grow older, they'll climb up from my knee, and I'll teach them the blessed as my mother has taught to me. A mother's love's a blessing, no matter where you roam. Keep her while she's living, you'll miss her when she's gone. Love her as in childhood, don't be alone and grey. You'll never miss your mother's love till she's buried beneath the clay. And that's again. That's shit. I'm in between, just a minute. Like the diamonds, you'd think she was queen of the land, and her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice to trade I was found. And many's the hours we happiness I spent in that neat little town, till sad misfortune came over me and caused me to stray from the land, far away from my friends and relations, to follow the black velvet band. Oh, ye jolly young fellows, and likewise take warning from me. Whenever you're out from the liquor, me lad, beware of those pretty colleagues. They'll fill you with whiskey and porter like hell, until you're not able to stand. And the very next thing you will know, me lad, you've landed in Van Diemen's land. All together. Right, they shone like the diamond. You'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Yeah. Something that's new, and be that now, says I don't mind if I do. Oh, my name is Dan Murphy, a farmer am I. Sure I courted the lads, but I felt rather shy. She invited me in for a moment or two, and be that now, says I don't mind if I do. When the supper was over, I reached for my hat. Says Peggy, me darling, don't leave me like that. Wouldn't you care to wait just for one kiss or two? And be that now, says I don't mind if I do. So we hugged and we kissed, a fond lover's delight. Says Peggy, me darling, will you make me your wife? I've an acre of grass and I've one cow or two. And be that now, says I don't mind if I do. So next morning we went to the church to be wed. The preacher presented the book and he said, now if you will take Peggy, sure Peggy'll take you. And be that now, says I don't mind if I do. Oh, 12 months we've been married, we got one little lad, and the neighbours all say that he's just like his dad. Ah, but Peggy once more, well, at least one or two. And be that now, says I don't mind if I do. Tooraloo, tooralay. Another song. And the cream of society lives down our way. Yeah. On that Christmas tree, Calvin Parry gave his young life for the cause of liberty. Just a lad of 18 summers, and yet no one can deny, as he marched to death that morning, he proudly held his head on high. Another martyr for old Ireland, another martyr for the crown, whose brutal laws may crush the Irish, but cannot keep their spirit down. Lads like Barry will free Ireland, for that cause they live and die. Lads like Barry will free Ireland, and that cause and die. Just before he faced the hangman in his dreary prison cell, British soldiers tortured Barry just because he would not tell the names of his companions and other things they wished to know. Turn informer and we'll free you. Kevin Barry answered no. Only shoot me like a soldier, do not hang me like a dog, for I fought to free old Ireland on that still September morn. all around that little bakery where we fought them hand to hand. Shoot me like an Irish soldier, for I died to free Ireland. Gamley standing to attention as he bade his last farewell to his broken-hearted mother, of whose sad grief no words can tell. For this cause he proudly cherished, this sad parting had to be. Then to death walked very smiling, that old Ireland might go free. Shinawil adaptation. All by the campfire at night, where the wilding goes cold.
There's an oldie and a goodie.
But there's nothing so lonesome, so morbid or drear, than to stand in the bar of a pub with no beer.
I can answer that.
Oh, the stockman rides up, covered in dust and flies. He throws down his robe, rubs the sweat from his eyes. But when he is told, I says, what's this I hear? I tread 50 flaming miles to a pub with no beer. Right with the blacksmith, the first time in his life, has gone home cold sober to his darling wife. He walks in the kitchen, she says, you're early, my dear. Then he breaks down and he tells her the pub's got no beer. The dog on the veranda for his master he waits, but the boss is inside, drinking wine with his mates. He hurries for cover and he cringes in fear. It's no place for a dog round a pub with no beer. Lonesome away from your kindred and all, by the campfire at night where the wilding goes call. Nothing so lonesome, so morbid or drear, than to stand in the bar of a pub with no beer. My native muse, although my song be sorrowful, I hope you'll me excuse. I left my peaceful residence a foreign land to see, and I bid farewell to old Donegal, likewise to Glen Swilley. No more amongst the sycamore I'll hear the blackbird sing. No more to me the blithe cuckoo will welcome back the spring. No more I'll plough your fertile fields a Cashel Gal Macree. For a foreign soil I mean to tile, far, far from Glen Swilley. Brave stalwart men around me stood, each comrade loyal and true. And as I grasped each well-known hand to bid my last adieu, I said to my fellow countrymen, it's soon we will be free, and we'll wave the green flag proudly over the hills of Glen Swilley. Oh, fare thee well, dark Donegal, my own dear native land. In dreams times I oft times see your hills and lovely mountains grand. Alas, 3,000 miles now lie between those hills and me. A poor forlorn exile cast far, far from Glen Swilley. May peace and plenty reign supreme around Loch Swilley shores. May discord never enter your Irish hearts or homes. And may the time soon come around when I'll return to thee, and live and die as my fathers live back home in Glen Swilley.
Hey, yeah, come here, babe.
Again to hum. I know well where that sound came from. It was our gallant Dan. We'll fill the sacks and we'll tie them up. Our years will be 18. Our stand back, says I, call down to Ross, our Lawlor's new machine. With Dan Lawlor on the forwards and Merton on the backs. Maybe the old thrashing machine?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And big Mike Dooley his new big fork, and he keeping back the chaff. And as for my hickey fell and sharp, his head was only seen as the straw came tumbling down in tons from Lawlor's new machine. Oh, as I strolled in to Mount Rattown to buy a pint of beer, up strolled the great big mountain man, a rocky mountaineer. He boasted of Mickey Phelan and his little harvest queen. Stand back, says I, call down to Ross, our Lawlor's new machine. With Dan Lawlor on the forwards and Merton on the backs. And big Mike Dooley his new big fork, and he keeping back the chaff.
That's right, that.
And as for my hickey failing shirt, his head was only seen as the straw came tumbling down in tons from Lawlor's new machine. Now its name, it was a Hornsby, and it drove by ransom steam. For thrashing wheat and barley, it's the finest ever seen. When Larry blows his whistle and Big Dan steps in the backs, as sure it's then around the haggard you will see them with the sacks, with Dan Lawlor on the forwards and Merton on the backs. And big Mike Dooley his new big fork, and he keeping back the chaff. And as for my hickey failing shirt, his head was only seen as the straw came tumbling down in tons from Lawlor's new machine. They all on the deck of his Uncle Joe, He got $1.5 million or so, says McGilligan, he'll throw a fancy ball down at the old ancestral hall. Invited the neighbours, everyone, for to join in the music and to have some fun. And they all went down to Mick McGilligan's ball, where they had to tear the paper off the wall to make room for all the people in the hall. All the girls and the boys made a hell of a noise at Mick McGilligan's ball. Now all of the neighbours came from near and far. Rafferty arrived in the motor car. Old Mrs. Riley, bless her heart, she came along in a donkey and cart. Poor Rafferty arrived in an aeroplane. You wouldn't see the likes again. There was a scream when the two old twins came along like a devil with the two Miss Quins. And they all went down to Mick McGilligan's ball, where they had to tear the paper off the wall to make room for all the people in the hall. All the girls and the boys made a hell of a noise at Mick McGilligan's ball. How was your old one? Game ball? By Jack Duggan was his name. He was born and raised in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love the Wild Colonial Boy. At the early age of 16 years, he began his native home, and to Australia's sunny isles he was inclined to roam. He robbed the rich to feed the poor. He stamped James McAvoy, and a third to Australia was the Wild Colonial Boy. One morning on the prairie, as Jack he rode along, listening to the mockingbird singing his lofty song. On Braintree mounted troopers Kelly Davis and Fitzroy. They all set out to capture him, the Wild Colonial Boy. Surrender now, that came for, you see, we're 3-1. Surrendering the Queen name, you are a plundering son. Jack drew 2 pistols from his belt, and he waved them up on high. I'll fight, I'll not surrender, said the Wild Colonial Boy. He fired a shot at Kelly, which brought him to the ground, and turning then to Davis he received a fatal wound. A bullet pierced his proud young heart from the pistol of Fitzroy, and that was how they captured him, the Wild Colonial Boy.